All right, guys, how's it going?
Hey, welcome back to MT Garage.
We are working on the CRX today, and big project for today is trying to get the thing running. So we've already got new plugs installed. You can see we got some wires on there and brand new battery. So
Fanciest thing this thing is ever gonna get.
that should be everything we need to at least get this thing cranking, and then we'll find out what happens after that. All right, so I believe Tim is going to hop in the car and try cranking. I got the magic starting fluid here, so that should be everything we need to get this thing going. Hopefully this isn't too anticlimactic for you guys. I'm gonna
Honestly, our first time cranking this car.
Yeah, I don't even have a clue if it's gonna do anything. Okay, I spritzed a bit in there. We got headlights.
The headlight switch does not do anything. It doesn't turn them off. All right, we are going for it. Oh, the brakes leave a lot to be desired.
They're probably non-existent, Tim.
All right, going for it.
That is so good, man.
Wow, that was easy.
First time.
Yikes, okay.
Jeez.
Well, I think,
Ready for the track? Let's go. That did not sound bad at all, though.
no,
I mean, for that really small amount of time.
And for how this looks, it looks
Like, yeah, this is exactly how we received it, minus the plug wires were gone. Remember, we were missing a spark plug in cylinder 1, so who knows what was in there. Oh, that was a surprise. It fired right up, no problem, and it was idling okay, right? I mean,
if I let off the throttle, it would die eventually. But if I
Yeah.
gave it gas, it had no problem keeping up. So
yeah, and like I didn't spray too much ether in there either, so I mean, it was running on whatever gas is in the fuel tank, which
Yeah.
for all we know could be like 5 years old.
yeah,
Like, so we're gonna drain that obviously, and we're gonna, make sure the lines and everything are good, fuel filter's good, and all that stuff. But man, that's
impressive.
a wrap, guys. We'll see you on the next video, and like, comment, subscribe.
So I think the next step is going to be looking at everything that we need. So we know we need a radiator. We know we need an air intake.
Yeah, well, I do have a rad in the shed in the back
Right.
too, so we can see, maybe we test fit that, see how many junkyard parts we can use to get this thing going, because I like to kind of do like a budget race car kind of build on it.
Definitely.
Because, I mean, we've got all these Honda parts kicking around, you might as well make use of them. But
Yep.
man, I cannot get over how well that ran.
Yep. Just 5 or 6 cranks and she went.
Yeah, that's a start, man. Okay, so
Motivated.
let's yeah, we'll run over to the shed. We'll see what I got for radiators. I know I've sold a few to some buddies, but I gotta have a couple kicking around yet.
Yeah.
And then we got our 2 boxes full of hoses. I'm sure we can fab something up there.
Yeah.
What'd you find, Tim?
Well, we got one little half rad. So this is from a Honda of some sort.
That's perfect. Yeah, this one's from an automatic, looks like.
Oh, is this one down here also?
But it's also capped, so I mean, it'll work either way.
Yeah. Well, we got 2 to choose from, so we can decide which one we like better.
I think that's the original one off of my car.
And it's got a reservoir tank. Overflow.
That's actually good. We need that. Man, those are so skinny.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, this one's technically in better
factory.
shape.
You're peeing all over my
Oh,
shed.
This has got the reservoir tank we can steal. So I think we should use this one.
That's thicker, eh? Oh yeah, that's much thicker.
Yeah.
I like that. I think the CRX connector might be different. So luckily, I cut it on this one, so we actually have the connector that we could splice into that one. Assuming it comes out. Ugh, that is on there, man.
The trick is push in and then put the tab down and then pull out.
Pull-out game is weak, Tim. Oh, there she goes. Whew. Tim, it's in the "but did you die" drawer.
Right. That makes sense. I will never forget now. Take the dullest one.
All right, so we're gonna do what all car guys do and make a cardboard list of all the stuff we need. Just don't cut my drywall.
Awesome. I don't think this knife is sharp enough to cut drywall. It's hardly sharp enough to cut cardboard.
So we've got a rad, so we can check that off the list, but we got to make it fit because this has mounts for a CRX rad, and this car has also been in a front end collision, so it's all smashed up. So we gotta figure out something up there. Probably end up ripping this bumper off and see what's going on yet, but yeah.
Ooh,
Rad mounts is a big one. What else we got? Suspension. That tire is touching that fender because it's so low. Dirt nasty low, Tim. A lot of stuff we won't be able to add until we take this thing on a road test, but
yeah.
we got to get there first. So rad, suspension, tires,
Brakes.
Let's get cracking on. I don't know what we want to do today. Do we want to get the rad sorted out? I mean, we could at least get it mounted, maybe.
Yeah.
Try to get it mounted.
Thing to do. Easy enough to do, and it's something to check off the list.
Mm-hmm.
Needs to be done, so why don't we do that? And then if we have time, let's take a tally of some of the things that we'll need to buy or source, so that we can do that in the meantime. And let's get to it.
All right, guys, we're having a bit of trouble trying to get this darn bumper off of here.
This is what sucks about Canadian cars.
You know what? I am so glad they changed to 10 mils on Hondas, because this rusty Phillips head screw or Phillips head bolt, whatever, that is the dumbest thing I've ever seen, man.
So how badly do we need to take this bumper off?
I really want to get it off so that we can exchange these for proper fasteners, because that is...
Yeah, we might as well do it while we have it here, not if we ever need to take it off in the field.
Yeah. So
I think we're just gonna drill
obviously,
everything out.
yeah, these are rounded now. I think I'm almost through.
Did you know you have a wide angle lens on this?
Do I?
Yeah.
I know nothing about my phone.
Dude, it's 0.5x. Look how wide it is now.
Decent.
You just have to click the 1x button.
That's why I have IT friends like you, Tim.
IT friends. It's also a terribly awkward angle, too.
Very, very much, yes. Okay.
That'll do as well.
Melt right the heck through the bumper, man. Done.
Get around that.
Okay.
All right.
That's all that was holding it on. We had nothing from underneath, eh?
Yeah.
Off she comes. Jeez. CRX bumper, guys. Yeah, like, we're not super close, but we may end up, like, kinking the hose a little bit on the subframe.
Yeah.
I think it'll work, though.
I think so.
All right, guys, so we've been throwing around some ideas to try and get the rad to fit in here. So we got the bumper off, and this part is all kind of smashed in, but we do have an old rad support from an EK in the backyard, so it already had the rad support brackets on the bottom of it, so we drilled them out, and now we got these giant holes in the side of it. So right now I'm just kind of modifying them. So this one I'm already finished, but I basically just kind of ground that part off of it so it looks a little bit better. And then we got to figure out a way to mount these on the CRX rad support down here and see if we can get our EK rad mounted a bit lower so that it's going to clear the hood.
So right now I'm taking off these power steering line coolers, or trans cooler lines, not sure what they are, because they were kind of getting in the way and we don't need them. So we're going to be able to get a little more clearance to go a little lower.
I think our plan now is going to be to use these rad support brackets, and we got to make another bracket coming off and making it L-shaped. So basically what's going to happen, this is going to sit underneath where this part of the bracket is sitting straight up, and then we're going to have an L bracket coming off of that and coming up and over this part so that we can kind of stick a bolt through there, and that's going to hold it in place. So we were looking for a piece of scrap steel. I had a really nice piece of steel plate that we use for making brackets and stuff. We can't find that anywhere. I don't know where the heck I put it, but I have some of this scrap aluminum strapping kind of kicking around. So we're trying to make some L brackets out of these. This stuff's a little too thin and flexible, but we found this and it's quite a bit thicker than this material here. So we're gonna try doing it with this. Only problem is we can't weld aluminum to steel. So once we have the brackets made, we're just gonna have to bolt it to this, which I'm not too crazy about, but it'll still work. I would have preferred to just find steel and weld to this, but we're gonna work with what we got here today. So, all right, so Tim's working on these perfectly symmetrical aluminum brackets. I think they're gonna work just fine. So
Absolutely.
drill the hole through the original rad support bracket, made these guys, and basically that is gonna slot in there. We'll run a bolt through there, and then at some point we're gonna bend this so that it's an actual L bracket. But first we want to bolt this up, fit it on the car, and then we can kind of determine where we want our bend to be. So that's kind of what we got going on right now. Seems like we're making some kind of progress. Oh yeah. Gone. There. All right, guys. Well, this isn't the prettiest, but it'll definitely get the job done. So down here we've got our two rad support brackets. We were going to bolt them on, but there wasn't really a good way to do that. So we got some self-tapping screws in there, and they are holding pretty solid for what they are. Like, they don't move much at all. And we've test fit the rad in there, and it sits pretty solid. We ended up having to trim this part of the shroud down here, just because it was actually hitting up against the subframe. But now that we've done that, it seems to fit pretty good. So now we're just trying to figure out a way to mount the top. So we want to use this existing piece here for mounting it. And we're probably just going to find a piece of strapping or something like that. And then we'll have to drill a hole in here and then bolt it down. And then we should be good to go. Then we just got to find some hoses that'll work. But we're getting close.
The next day.
All right, guys. Well, it is a new day today. And me and Tim were working on the CRX pretty late into the night last night. And I started working on it again this morning. So we had been fabricating a top bracket, and we spent actually a good chunk of time on it, and it was just not working out. So we kind of called it a night after that, but I continued working on it today, and actually got this whole thing finished now. So I'm gonna show you guys where we're at. So this janky thing here is the bracket that we were working on for the top of the rad, which does not look great at all. We cut this hole with tin snips, and we were gonna stick the grommet in there and call it good enough. But no, it was way too flimsy once we bolted it up, and the rad was actually bouncing right out of the lower support. So I threw that one away, and I got fabricating this morning, came up with this thing. So this one I made out of diamond plate, and it is aluminum, so it is kind of flimsy too. But the way that I've mounted it and have my bends here, there's actually quite a bit of pressure pulling back, which doesn't really allow the rad to move at all. And before, I could just pull up on it and it would just flex right off. This one does not move at all. And with the two bolts in there, it's held in place really solid. So I don't see that going anywhere. Next thing was to get all the hoses in place. I was able to find an upper rad hose, which basically fit. I just had to trim this side a little bit, and it ran pretty nicely. Lower rad hose, It looks a little funny because it's a bit too long in this area, but I mean, it fits on the bottom and it fits onto the engine here. I do believe I trimmed that side a little bit, just so that we would have a little less slop in here, but it worked out pretty nicely. There's no kinks in that one. And then the other thing we noticed was that the heater core hose was cut in half. So we couldn't use that, and most of the HVAC inside the car is disassembled, so we're not going to have heat anyway. So I found a hose that I was able to loop from this side around to this side, so now it'll just circulate through there instead of going through the heater core. It's basically ready to put coolant in it now. I do want to figure out an overflow reservoir yet too, so I'll probably just end up using this OEM Civic one. But I gotta find a way to mount it. I know I probably have brackets kicking around somewhere, and then I might just mount it off to the side here somewhere, and it should look pretty good. So I'm very happy with the way that this turned out. I think before we add any coolant or anything to it, I do want to remove the lower hose and just run water through this whole system, because who knows how long this engine was sitting without any hoses or anything on it. So there's probably a lot of stuff inside that we don't want, so I want to flush out that whole system. But yeah, guys, I think that's going to end the video for today. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you guys are stoked about this. We made huge progress on the CRX, and that was only basically one evening that we worked on it. So couldn't believe that it actually fired up first try, and we've actually made it this far already. So thanks again, guys, for sticking around. Make sure you hit that like button if you're stoked. Drop us a comment below. Let us know what you think. We always love to hear feedback from you guys. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, definitely consider doing so. We got lots of content coming. Spring is finally here, so the videos are going to be coming out a lot more frequently. So definitely subscribe so you can stay up to date with us. And yeah, we will see you next time.